Welcome to my channel. This video is for a loop chain and a backer for the Blue Mini Mum. Please join my YouTube family by subscribing and don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads and live streams. I now have memberships available, so here are the perks, and you can also find those on my page under memberships. Now to begin, I am cutting these acetate or Florentine ribbons at 6 inches long. And you just need to cut the amount you need for loops. And then I cut another piece of ribbon long enough for the braid. This is to attach the loops to, and you want to make it an inch or two longer so you have enough space to attach it to your backer. I'm doubling the white ribbons because these are a little bit thinner ribbons, and this is just going to make them more, it's going to make the loops firmer, and then it's also going to make the white really crisp and white. And then I'm layering it with the 7/8 inch royal blue ribbon. And just giving that a staple so they stay in place and they'll be easier to attach to that center ribbon. As you can see, I'm attaching these, the blue ribbon kind of off to the side instead of centered. I like to do that. You can alternate too when you attach them so they're like it's towards the right side on one loop and then on the left side on the next loop, and just keep going back and forth, or you can do them where they're all the same like this. And then I always like to lay them out and kind of see how I'm going to attach them, how far apart I'm going to attach them. And then you just need to line up your white ribbons because they're the same width, so it's going to line up evenly, and so you'll know that you've got your loop on there straight. If you use the same size back ribbon as your loops, as your widest part of your loop, then you'll easily be able to line them up and get them on there as straight as possible. Now don't rush this part. Take your time, line them up good, make sure that you're attaching them the same distance apart each loop, so you don't have some that are really close together and some that are really far apart. Here you can see I switched it just to show you what it would look like if you alternated back and forth. That gives it a really fun look. I do that quite a bit. On this one I just wanted to keep them all the same. You can also tilt your loops back and forth, so you've got like a double or just like a fun zigzag kind of shape, but this is just going to be a straight loop. All the loops are going to match. You know, there's so many different things you can do with loop chains, but they are more difficult than what they appear. They look like they would be the easiest thing, but really it's the hardest thing because trying to get them evenly and straight is really more difficult than you would think. So now moving on to the backer. I'm using this it's either 2.5 inch or 2.75 inch width royal blue, and then the 1.3 inch width white. Cutting them at 5 inches long since it's for a mini backer. I don't do the loops as big. If I was doing a full size backer, then I would do them at 6 inches. So just cut as many as you need, and again I'm doubling up the white. That way when I put the white on top of the blue, it still shows really crisp and white. Otherwise the blue will kind of dilute the white color and it won't look as crisp. And then I like to angle the smaller ribbon on top of the wider ribbon and then make the loop. It just gives it a new updated look. I started doing that a couple years ago. I don't do it every time. It's just something different, so it's a way to make your loops look different. And I'm layering them with the blue glitter ribbon, and I believe that's a 5/8 inch width. I have the blue in 5/8, and then I also have it in a smaller than that. So I'm just going to quickly go through and show you all these. That blue is a poly, the back blue, the whitest one, is a poly Florentine as well. I use both that and acetate. You just have to be careful because a lot of times the colors won't match up. So I give that 2 staples to make sure that I get both sides of that white stapled down on the blue. Now I'm going to make some smaller loops. So it's a good thing to do different size loops on your backer to change things up and to make it look, you know, unique and pretty. and just to change things up. But I do some with the same size loops. I do some with all different size loops. It just depends on the backer, and I like to change it up. I don't want to make the same backer for everybody, so I really try to make different looking backers every time, so everybody's mum is unique. Now I'm using this cute 5/8 inch, it's either a gingham or buffalo check. I have both styles, and I believe that's the gingham right there. So using a black and white ribbon with your blues and your whites or whatever colors you're using just really changes it up. It makes those colors pop for some reason, especially with orange or with the blue, and even red, I believe, are the three colors that I can really think of that really pop with the black and white ribbons. So now I'm starting with my first one, and since I have 4, I'm going to attach them in a north, south, east, west pattern. I want to make sure that they are on the backer straight and even, but I also want to make sure that I'm attaching them the same distance on the backer, so one loop isn't further off the backer than the other one, so that you will be able to tell. And then before I started, I took a smaller roll of ribbon and outlined it on there, so I had like a guide, which I've shown that many times on different backer tutorials. So if you could see that red line where I just drew a red circle, so that just gives me a guide on where to attach those first loops. And I apologize for the dogs barking. They won't stop. Every time I start doing the voiceover, they start barking. So please ignore that. I apologize. So I'm attaching the last loop here. Trying to get those all even. You see I make like a square in the center of that backer after I'm done with those first 4. Now I just need to attach these smaller ones in between. It's really easy to line these up. You just want to look at the loop on either side of it and make sure you're about the same space, and then however far out or in on the backer that you want to attach them is fine. And you can stop with one layer of loops, or you can attach another layer, and you can attach another layer after that. It really depends on your flower size. Keep your flower close and put it on your backer and check and see how it looks. If there's too much space, then you need to attach something else, another layer. But then again, if everything's getting covered up, you need to stop, because if you're covering everything up with the flower, then there's no sense in adding all that. So now I'm attaching some swirls with my deco mesh tubing and chenille stems. You guys have seen me do this before too. This is the iridescent tubing, which I really love, so you can use it with any color. And then I got some royal blue metallic chenille stems, so I got that pretty blue, but I also have that iridescent look, and I just love doing the little spirals. They're fun. You can attach them where they're facing each other and it looks like a big heart, or you can attach them individually like this, and I always staple and glue them on. And now I'm going to do some loops with just the iridescent without the chenille stem. So I like to do different techniques with this as well. Just making 2 or 3 loops, very simple. You can staple that right there, or you can take a chenille stem and wrap around it. Just need a little piece and then cut that off, and then it's much easier to attach it to the backer. I have many times attached the loops to the backer without doing any of that, and it is harder to hold it in place, those loops in place, and then staple it at the same time. So I do recommend that you somehow form those loops and hold them in place, whether it's with a chenille stem or just giving them a staple will work. And then staple them on your backer and add a little hot glue just to be safe. So I'm going on opposite ends here with that. And this just adds something fun, a different texture, just something different. You know, a lot more people are using tubing on their mums, but there's so many different ways you can do it, so you can get some really different looks. Now this really pretty royal blue tinsel we purchased at Walmart last year right after Christmas, so I got a bunch of it on clearance. It's really full. It's my favorite kind of tinsel. I've got it in several different colors. So I am just making these little puffs or pom-poms out of it and attaching it in between everywhere that the tubing is attached. It's going to go all the way around. And I just like to take that tinsel and kind of roll it into a ball. And that is it. Now it's a nice full backer. I just need to put my flower on it, and you can see that tinsel sticking out of there. You can see everything. It's a perfect fit. And here's a few photos of the finished mum. I did some other tutorials on this mum, so you can pretty much see it start to finish. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment. Become a member if you want to. Please be kind to others. Please be kind with your comments. And happy mum making, everyone.